Hello guys, welcome to another video. So, I just have taken like 3 takes of this, and I've just decided enough is enough. I'm taking too long doing this, so I'm just gonna bam these pros and cons off as soon as possible. So, I've had this bike for about a year, the Benelli BN 125, and so I thought it would be a mighty idea to give you, the audience who possibly wants to buy themselves a Benelli BN 125, give you guys my thoughts and takes on owning this bike for a year. So this is the 2022 model. I'm not actually too sure if it is, but I'm just going to run with it because I did buy it at the end of 2022. So we're just going to say it is a 2022 bike. So, running on pro number 1, the fuel tank. The fuel tank boasts a good 13.5 litres. And this lasts me roughly about a month. And unless I go on extremely long journeys, then I top it up. But fill up for about a month. Always E5. I never put E10 just because we hate E10. So yeah, it's really not bad per month. 13 to 15 pounds. 2 thumbs up. Alright, so next pro. The turning. The turning is flawless. So yeah, the turning is flawless. Super light. I've never had a problem or trouble trying to turn this bike at low speeds. U-turns are a breeze. I'm just telling you right now, U-turns are so easy to do in this. I don't feel over encumbered while riding this. The bike feels super light. So the turning is super easy too. Okay, pro number 3. Ever since I've owned this bike, I have not pumped up either of these wheels once. So, be that as it may not be a good idea for me to do that, which, judging by pushing them slightly, that's not really slightly, I'm putting pretty much a lot of effort into pushing that. I should try and see if I can pump these up, but nevertheless, the wheels feel great. I've done another CBT. Bear in mind, I didn't need to do that CBT again, but I rode another Benelli similar to this, and the wheels felt absolutely terrible. It felt like I was on a V, if that makes sense, instead of a semicircle. Say, if you turned sharply. It was crazy. I did not enjoy it because it felt like I was going to tip over at any point. But no, the wheels on the stock bike feel super. Pro number 4, the bike sounds amazing, especially in 4th gear. As you're picking up the speed, you're going from 30 to 40. The higher you go, there is this sound that happens where it goes. Maybe it sounds a bit like this. The sound goes, which is incredible. I never thought I'd hear it on a bike like this, especially a 125. But let me turn it on so you can guys hear a little bit of how it sounds. I'm sure you've probably heard this before, but here we go. Please do not mind the dirtiness, the bike needs a wash. I'm not going to rev it too hard, but there you go. So yeah, the bike sounds phenomenal. So, pro, I think number 4, it might be 5. I don't know, I'll put it on the screen. The bike fits well to the body. So, as I sit on the bike, my legs cup right here. As I'm standing on the bike, or not really standing on the bike, just sitting on the bike, no feet on the ground. My back is automatically upright, slightly curved, maybe because I'm just so tall. I'm like 8 foot, but no, really. The bike helps the posture a lot. I've never had a bad back while riding this, especially even riding for 2 hours. I haven't had any problems with my back. The bike feels great around the legs. I'm sure if you were a little bit taller, The legs would cup right where the crease is. Oh yeah, the whole body is plastic, by the way, besides obviously the frame. That's all metal. Peg heights feel great. They're pretty tall, I think. They're not too tall. You're basically just sitting in a chair in a classroom. There you go. And I think actually that's all of the pros and cons. No, not pros and cons, just the pros. I think that's all the pros I have with this bike. So, con number 1. Halfway through owning this bike, roughly about 5 to 6 months, I got it professionally cleaned. So I'm not actually sure if this is the bike's fault or the cleaner's fault. However, it now makes a ticking sound right where the engine is. As you pick up the speed, you can obviously hear it from first, second, third, and fourth. You can't hear it on fifth, but as you go on, like it goes. It's like you can barely hear it, but it's like putting a feather against a fan, if that makes any sense. So you can just hear it under the engine. Sometimes you can hear it over the engine, but it is there nevertheless, and I hate it with my guts. But since I've had it for 6 months, I've come to ignore it. Con number 2. Braking isn't fantastic. Maybe I just need to get new brake pads, but looking at the brake pads, they don't look shabby. Front brake pads don't look bad either. Con number 3. So, power isn't fantastic. As I'm picking up speed, I always want the extra oomph. If you can get where I'm coming from. Considering I've ridden 650 now, this bike just is lacking in everything for me, especially in power. Picking up the speed and going faster, say from 30 to 40, takes about 2 seconds or 3 seconds. But on that 650, it is an instant. As soon as you pull back on that throttle a little bit more, you're instantly pushed back, and it just feels amazing compared to this, which it wasn't a con before I've ridden a 650, but it definitely is now, which I guess it isn't really a con for the bike compared to other 125s, but once you've ridden a 650 or higher, you just want that little bit extra. Okay, so I think this is a 4th or 5th con. I'm really bad at keeping numbers. Anyway, so ever since I had the bike, there have been 2 instances where the indicator has stopped working properly. For instance, for a really extreme example, I was on my CBT, the second CBT that I didn't need, but as we were starting to go onto the road training, luckily I was in the middle the whole time, so I didn't have a problem with being in front, but signal left, it didn't work. Signal right, it didn't work. The problem was that I had to very, very, very slightly turn on, like halfway turn on, and then and only then would it work. But then sometimes, because of that, you're not really fully clicking it in, it could just snap back out straight away. Okay, so con number 5, the space on the bike. There is literally no space you can put anything on the bike, unless you want to like a little buddy up here, a penguin perhaps, or a duck, like a little toy. There is no space, so yeah, you can't really fit anything in the back of it. Wow, I did that first time. Okay, so final con of this bike. Sometimes it finds false neutral, which it's a bugger. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna say it. It's a bugger. Excuse my French. So, say for instance, this honestly can happen. It's happened to me at every single gear. So it's happened to me at 5. It's happened to me at 4, 3, 2, 1. Every single one, I've somehow found neutral, which I don't understand how that's even possible. Maybe there's some logistics behind it, if someone could explain that. But it becomes a bit worrisome, because when I was going home one time, it just started skidding for some reason. The back wheel just locked up for no reason. And that was pretty scary. I didn't fall over, luckily, because, you know, all that year experience and stuff. But it was pretty sketchy. It was very, very sketchy. I hope that doesn't happen to anyone. I think it's just this bike. I think it's just a me problem, honestly, but we're all good. And actually, I think that's all the pros and cons about this bike, which is, I hope I didn't miss anything. But so yeah, I hope everything that I've told you or shown you about the bike is helpful in some way. I really want to give you guys something that you can think about when you're thinking about purchasing this bike or another bike. I don't know if you can tell, the bike looks fantastic, even with all the wear and tear that I've had throughout the year. And saying that, there's actually one more thing that I didn't give you as a pro for, and that last pro is for freedom. Like, who wouldn't want this? It is so cool. You're just alone. You can either be with people or you can be without people. You don't have to worry about what people say. You just go on your merry way. Like, I'm lost right now. I don't know where I am. But I hope you come out of this a bit more knowledgeable about whether or not you want to buy a motorcycle or not. And with that, that's the end. Thank you very much for watching, and take care. I am so lost.